Hello, hello, hello. I'm Mandy on YouTube. I'm Mandy Noelle on TikTok. I'm Mandy's Makeup Adventures 25, and on Instagram, I'm mandynoellejohnson. Thank you so much for watching. Welcome back to my channel. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. I'm a huge fan of beauty, makeup, and pretty much all things artistry. I have been an artist all my life. I use makeup as a therapy. If you would like to come along for the crazy ride, strap in. It's so funny because I was trying to say something serious and then I realized my tongue is blue from eating candy while I was doing this look. Obviously, makeup trends shift constantly, and right now we are in a hailstorm of fancy liner looks, and most people feel intimidated by those looks. I know me as a makeup artist and an artist, I was intimidated by the whole thing. I bought this cake lining palette from Notorious Artistry. I don't know how long ago that was. Sometime last year. I used it for several little videos, and then I just kind of put it away and moved on. So these are just some tips and tricks that I'm learning as I'm learning how to do this. Even though I feel pretty confident that I could do a good job with a lot of these lining trends if I was doing it on a client, because as an artist, you know, I'm used to painting this way, not this way. So turning around the brush on yourself is the most intimidating part. A few tips and tricks. I'm going to insert some videos. First thing you need to do, that's chaos in the background, guys. She's well fed. She's just talkative. So this is a liner palette, a cake liner palette from Notorious Artistry. It's a fantastic palette. The thing that you need to do first when you go to do liquid, well, cake liners, is you need to test the consistency of the paint. So when you drop water in to the palette, you need to see how much water that you need to get the paint to the consistency that you want it. And it does take practice, because inevitably you'll think that it needs more water because it seems easier to get on the brush with more water, but you'll find out then that on the eyes it does not come out opaque, and that's kind of important. And when you get it too opaque, it then becomes gummy and yucky, so it really does take practice with the consistency. Okay, so adding to that, the opacity is going to be something that you're going to have to finagle with a lot, okay? So I put one layer of flour down, not, you know what I mean. I painted one layer of flowers, and then I went back in for some more color to give it some more opacity. But then I decided to leave it a little less opaque because you could actually see the color of the eyeshadow behind it through the flower, and it made it so pretty, almost like a watercolor on my eyes. Do we see? Do we see? And pastels are huge right now. Natasha Denona, take it away. And no, this look is not from the Natasha Denona pastels. I would love to play with that. However, I'm on a no-buy a low buy, because I have bought a few things, just little pieces that are, you know, something I'll use more often than just buying eyeshadow palettes here and there. And then, you know, there's the whole Jeffree Star thing, which I don't even know about anymore. Anyway, this look, surprisingly, comes from this palette. This is Relentless by Playing in Makeup by Yolondo. And then the rest was done with this Notorious Artistry cake liner palette. So that part is out of the way. So yeah, the opacity is a pretty big deal, and trying to get it to the right mixture of water versus liner. Hold on a second, let me see if I can, maybe that's a little better. Trying to get it to the right mixture of water versus liner is going to be a process, and it's going to be different with each palette of cake liner because they're all going to be different. So it's really important to remember to have a light hand, and that's all I'm going to say before we go into tip number 2. A light hand, because if you get too much on the eyes, it will crack and it will look awful, like crusty and nasty. Tip number 2 coming at you now. Second, sketch it out with the liner on the back of your hand. That way you can see the shape, the size it needs to be, and the spacing that you need. And then tip number 3 is more like, I don't know, kind of like a mantra. I explained it like the TikTok trend that's going around where people say, I could never do something like that, something like this art piece that the artist has created. And they're like, how do you do that? It's practice. No, but I mean, you must have like magical no, it's practice. And they keep repeating that it's practice as they show you their artwork. So I have to say, yes, amen, because here's the video of my eye look earlier today as I attempted this for the first time. Keeping in mind that I am a makeup artist and an artist, have been doing that for a long time, and the difference between practice and no practice. So here comes no practice, now that you see what practice gets you. That stuff. By the way, I know I look crazy. I'm not, you know, I'm just in experiment phase right now. My first attempt. And I did not follow my second piece of advice, which is to sketch it on the back of your hand. So when you get your cake liner palette, and it's your first one, open it up and play with it. Play with it on the back of your hand. Then play with it on your face. Then see, okay, this is how I'm going to draw my thick lines. This is how I'm going to draw my thin lines. This is how I'm going to do detail work, because it's a lot easier, and I'll just demonstrate. I'm going to pick a color that'll show up. Let's pick out a nice pink. And I'm adding my water to it. I can kind of show you that way. Oh, isn't it interesting trying to do things in a direction you're not used to like this? It's crazy. So I want to mix it up to where I think that you'll be able to see it. And then if I'm doing a quick line, you see how that's kind of effortless. I was able to just glide it that way. Those ones are much easier than if you have to draw something. So now I'm going to attempt to draw something over here. Let's draw a heart. We have pink. We'll draw a heart. Now I did end up doing it, but it's difficult. You have to think about it. These ones are rather easy to create. So if you just want to do the geometric ones and the dots are kind of, I forgot where my water was. The dots are kind of interesting because you can go two ways with the dots. You can use the brush tip to make the dot, which is it's a very specific skill. Because then it matters how much you press into your skin with the brush. That's going to matter on how big your dot is, on all of that. Now, if I want to do little swoops, that's a whole different skill. So sitting down and just playing with your liner palette is going to be extremely important to get good at it. It's not going to be something you're going to be able to, well, I don't know, maybe you're a savant of sorts and you don't need the practice, but I, as somebody who I consider myself an artist, I paint lots of stuff, painted that. The other thing you can do is to use a dotting tool or the back of a paintbrush is what I usually use. Because for the most part, dots are much easier and able to be uniform if I do it that way. And if I want to change the size of the dot, there are smaller paintbrush tips right there in your, I bet in your eyebrush collection, you've got lots of circle shapes that you can use. I hope this video helps. I feel like most of artistry is just having the guts to get started. Most people stare at a blank piece of paper or a blank canvas, or even just their eyelids, and they are intimidated and they go to what they know. And that's why a lot of people are like, oh, I could never work with color. I don't know how you do that. You must be like super talented, or what. It's all about just trying it and being brave enough to try. Tell me what you think of the look below. Tell me below if you have a cake liner palette, if you've tried to do the graphic liner. Are you confident in your graphic lining skills? Would you branch out and do things like making flowers or hearts or things like that? All right, guys, thank you so much, and I will see you on the next video. Don't forget to be amazeballs.